What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman, aka Allfires, and it is all happening. One of the smartest things Marvel Studios did when they decided to retool Daredevil Born Again was lock in Jon Bernthal's Punisher, and we even found out at the end of the season and earlier this year that Jon Bernthal will be penning his own special presentation for Punisher at Disney+. Well, apparently, Marvel Studios had even bigger plans for the Punisher, and this time on the silver screen, breaking within the last 15 minutes, and it'll be a little longer than that before my editor gets this video up. According to The Hollywood Reporter, Jon Bernthal is going to join Tom Holland's Spider-Man in the upcoming Spider-Man Brand New Day. We have the entire article for you here. We're going to read through it and break it down, and also address the real possibility this means a street-level team-up with Spider-Man, Punisher, and you-know-who. We're breaking it all down, but first, if you could grab the subscribe button. We do daily Marvel content at the channel. That's all we do. Thanks to everyone who's been subscribing lately and helped grow the channel. And if you haven't already, I would just kindly invite you to do so. It's the #1 thing you can do to support us as content creators. Plus, it'll enter you for the giveaways at the channel. If you want, stick around to the end of the video. We get into all the giveaway stuff again there. Okay, so this just broke in The Hollywood Reporter under the headline, Jon Bernthal joins Tom Holland Spider-Man in Brand New Day. The Punisher is back. They go on to report, quote, Jon Bernthal has appeared in several Marvel television series as the stone-cold vigilante known as Punisher, even headlining his own series. Now, he's taking his guns to the big screen. Bernthal has joined Tom Holland in Spider-Man Brand New Day, the latest Spider-Man movie from Sony and Marvel. Destin Daniel Craig is directing the feature, which will shoot in England this summer and has a July 31st, 2026 release date. Much of the movie remains shrouded in mystery. Movie rumor websites have listed upwards of a dozen possible villains, from crime bosses to alien symbiotes who could appear in the feature, as well as a couple of different versions of the Hulk. Now let's pause right there, because we do have a lot of confirmations for this film. One of them is not the symbiote. Tom Hardy talked very candidly about the fact that at least at one point, Tom Holland's Spider-Man was going to fight or meet Tom Hardy's Venom, but that fell apart a long time ago. And even though the black suit was a part of the 1980s Secret War storyline, and it would seem like the symbiote that was possibly left in the MCU would be right on time for Tom Holland, we'll talk about that in a separate video. I doubt we are going to see Tom Holland's Venom, so you can rule the symbiotes or the extension of the Null story we saw at the end of Venom 3. You can rule all that out for now. The MCU is not going down that road. Also, before we go any further, I think it's important to note that while Jon Bernthal has always maintained he wants to stay true to the character and that inherent anger and violence, the rated R nature of it all, is part of who Punisher is, you can guarantee they're going to find a way to make this very PG-13, bullets and all, because it's Sony and Marvel, and a huge audience for Spider-Man is still young kids, and they're going to find a way to make it all work. Still the same Punisher, just, toned down to PG-13. Now, we also know, and because of a huge merch conference in which Disney revealed details about Avengers Doomsday and Spider-Man Brand New Day, some of the villains that are actually confirmed for Brand New Day. Villains like Tarantula and Scorpion, street-level villains, and it's even been said that the Hulk will be in the film as the main antagonist. It'll be Spider-Man fighting the Hulk in what might actually be a savage version of the Hulk and a reversion from the Professor Hulk we've been seeing. And what a crazy fight that would be if Spider-Man had to recruit the Punisher to help him fight the Hulk. But wait. Marvel Studios just released a movie in Captain America Brave New World where they fought a Red Hulk. And Sony, I guarantee you, does not want to put out a movie the very next year where now the Savage Hulk is the antagonist. As awesome as that would be, I guarantee you that the Russos, Marvel Studios, they have plans for Bruce Banner's Hulk in the 2 upcoming Avengers movies, and then maybe even with a World War Hulk somewhere down the line that seems like they've been building to for years now. So I see it as unlikely that a Savage Hulk is the villain right after we got Red Hulk as the villain in Captain America Brave New World, as I do Marvel leaving it to Sony and sort of to have this moment where a major thing for the trajectory of the Hulk storyline happens, and right before the Russos have a chance to deal with the character for Doomsday. Quick side note, we all want Savage Hulk. Reverting him in Spider-Man would set that up, but I think a lot more likely the case, it's going to be a possible team-up where we've got a Sinister Six made up of a ton of different villains, which would explain all of Daniel RPK's casting grid leaks where we've seen castings for multiple different villains, and then somehow you'll end up getting a team-up between Spider-Man, the Punisher, and the Hulk taking them out. Now, as I mentioned during the prologue, I think this also opens the door wide open for them to have Charlie Cox's Daredevil become a part of this film too. And we could have some crazy team that's Daredevil, Punisher, Hulk, and Spider-Man taking on the Sinister Six. And if that is truly what ends up being the plot and the whole movie for Spider-Man Brand New Day, well then, in my opinion, you couldn't get anything better. That is literally dream stuff right there, to have Punisher and Daredevil team up with Spider-Man and then throw the Hulk in the mix. Man, you can't ask for more. Now, I will mention there is this Savage Hulk theory of it all, because some people think that the Hulk will remember who Peter Parker is because Bruce Banner may not, but the spell would have only worked on Bruce Banner when he was in the Professor Hulk form, but wouldn't have worked on the Savage Hulk. So as soon as he reverts, he'll remember Peter Parker, which will lead to them teaming up. But again, I think the Savage Hulk becomes such a harder piece to fit into the puzzle, even though it's a lot more classic for that team up, a harder piece to fit into the puzzle when you've got two huge brains like Peter Parker and Bruce Banner, who really haven't had much interaction at all, if any, on screen in the MCU. Now, I'm totally not going to be shocked at all when one of the Hollywood trades, or maybe even the Hollywood Reporter, confirms Charlie Cox's Daredevil for Spider-Man as well in the next, say, 2 or 3 weeks, 2 or 3 months. I think it's fair for a lot of people who are going to assume this to make that conclusion, because really, Jon Bernthal's Punisher was featuring in Daredevil for a lot of this. Like, right, it was, hey, we can get Jon Bernthal's Punisher into Daredevil. Well, why would you not want to get Daredevil into Spider-Man? And it seems like during Spider-Man Far From Home, having him show up as a lawyer, that was the beginning of that. Also, keep in mind, at the end of Daredevil Season 1, they worked the Spider-Man theme in. So I think all signs are likely, but what I will mention is that Vincent D'Onofrio 2 separate times on record has mentioned that part of his contract actually precludes him from playing Kingpin or being in the movies. Now, it's a little weird how that would have worked out, because Marvel now has the rights for the Kingpin, but he might actually be a Spider-Man's Rogue Gallery villain, and so Sony may have some say in that. But if it's Sony who has a say in it, who's blocking him from being in the movies, they could allow him to be in their own Spider-Man movie. It's Sony who's working on this movie with Marvel, so it's a little unclear what he was specifically saying there. Maybe the contract only limits him from showing up as Kingpin in Marvel movies, but you have to imagine, again, if it's Sony in the first place that's putting that restriction on where he and how he can show up as Kingpin, they could also certainly be the ones to let him off the hook if they wanted him to show up. Still, they might not want to deal with the continuity that's being established in Daredevil Season 1 and Daredevil Season 2, as that actually will just be ending right before Spider-Man comes out, and to have Daredevil and Punisher show up in there would be one thing, but to try to tie in what's going on with Kingpin and sort of answer to that continuity is something that maybe even Marvel, but specifically Sony, probably don't want to do. You guys let me know all your thoughts down below, though, how hype you are about Jon Bernthal's Punisher teaming up with Tom Holland's Spider-Man. I am all ears as always. Quickly, let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. All right, we are still giving away PS5s at the channel. The next one is in just a week or two for Ironheart, and then right after that for Fantastic Four. If you want to be entered to win, all you got to do be a sub, leave a comment. Because it's truly random, the more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. Make sure to hit the notification bell with all notifications turned on to keep up with the videos. And of course, if you like today's video, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit the like button. My name's Michael Roman. Find me on Instagram and Twitter at IamFires. Find me on all platforms with original music under the name All Fires. Thanks for checking this channel out. Stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.